a lot of people who've watched our last video on Charlie Kirk are asking, like, you know, how do you guys deal? Like, you've been friends for so long, right? How are you still friends? Well, it's kind of like the video. Like, we don't get too emotional. We get emotional. We get heated. But we don't live our life based on our politics.
Right.
And that's what the problem that people have. Like, and I even noticed in some of the comments, people were like, oh, you don't know, you didn't talk that much. You didn't say anything. It's like, well, he's my boy. Like, I'm not at a debate for governor.
Right.
So, like, I'm trying to talk like a regular person does. Like, it's like, we don't get on here to win. We get on here to get the other person's perspective. And that's what I do with pretty much everybody. Like, if you asked anybody what my political leanings are, 90% wouldn't know. Like, I stay away from, a lot of people stay away from religion and politics, right? I'll talk politics all day. It's cool. And I'll even say stuff like, and I don't know. I haven't done any research on that. It's rare. Anyway. But
I'm sorry, the delivery on that, 10 out of 10. Thanks, 10 out of 10 for delivery on that.
So I will talk politics. I usually don't go into, here's what I don't like talking about, like what people do for work. It's fucking boring.
Right.
So I'll talk about everything, and I'm usually the social butterfly, and everybody hangs out at our place, and we make all the plans in our friend circle. And it's like, if people start talking about work, I will switch it to politics.
Well, I'd rather, because the reality of it is I'm not going to make an impact in anyone else's political viewpoints. Nobody's going to make an impact on my political viewpoints.
Right.
Our conversation is not going to create any change. And so as a function of that, it's just boring. And I have one rule: don't bore me.
You do hate boring, like you've always hated boring. But I would say the reason for what you just said is people come at stuff so filtered, so sided, so slanted with their politics. That's why they'll never learn anything. It's why you'll never change their mind. You and I have both changed each other's minds on several things over the past 25 years or whatever it is. Like, we've been like, oh shit, I never thought about that. Now, does that mean that, we get along on everything politically? It doesn't, but we don't take it so seriously, so personally. And people were like, well, you have to take it seriously because he's a dictator and we're going to lose the whole United States. And I'm like, okay, well, you're letting in all the immigrants. So if you do that, you're ruining our country. If I'm going to live my life that way, we're never going to get along with anybody. I'm only going to hang out with conservatives. You can only hang out with liberals. Otherwise, we can't get along at all.
And at some point, this is going to be something as as somebody who's very socially and politically conscious, as somebody who likes to think that I'm up on things, as somebody who likes to think that I'm knowledgeable about things. It simply doesn't matter.
You know what those founding fathers did, right? You get 2 terms, man. Now, I can see right now people saying Trump's going to go for a 3rd term. It's like, stop worrying about stuff.
Founding fathers didn't do that. You know who did that?
George Washington.
Republicans.
I thought Washington, they wanted him to go for his 3rd, and he said he would. Oh, no. That was already.
No, it was Roosevelt, FDR.
Giddy up, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it, right? Like the original short-termers were Republicans who said, and even Democrats who were like, this guy is starting to become a dictator.
And they were still close enough to a king, to being led by a king, to see it, be like, dude, we don't need any kings.
Right.
And it's like, I hear people now that are like, he's gonna run a 3rd term. You heard him. It's like, that he was joking, dude. He was joking, because you know what? I generally side with everything conservative. I don't go hard on it or anything. But if Trump was like, yeah, I'm changing, going for a 3rd term, I'd be like, no, dude. That's like that. I want Congress to have the same or similar some term limits of some kind. I don't need a 98-year-old person dying on me in fucking the Capitol building because they're snoozing around and they've been in the Senate for 74 years.
Oh my God! I stopped talking about Mitch McConnell.
No, I was talking about Biden.
Also Biden, for that matter.
No, Mitch McConnell. Remember when he did this?
Oh my God!
I thought he had a stroke, dude. Maybe
everybody thought he had a stroke, man. Yeah. So I think the thing this is where I would get into a heated political debate. The first person who looks at me, and this is where I would say, as a leftist, as a member of Antifa, I have a membership card, as a member of the Young Democrats of the University of Kentucky. These are all lies. I was never a member of any of these.
I know, but thanks for explaining.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the Young Democrats.
I would get in a passionate, like very, very passionate argument to the first person who looks at me and says Trump should serve a third term. Like that, I don't care what your party is. If somebody came back to me and said Bill Clinton should have served a third term, I'm going to have the same response. There are certain tenets that make us Americans, and the ability to recognize autocratic takeovers with a third term, that's something we all agree on, right? We stopped that shit 70, 80, 90 years ago. We're not doing it anymore.
If somebody said, hey, presidents can go forever, no term limits, or take your guns away, I would literally say, take the guns away then.
Take guns away.
And I'm a conservative. And you know what? Grew up in a gun culture. Take the guns before you give them unlimited fucking Senate power.
Right.
Because like then the lobbyists are running the show.
Well, the lobbyists are running the show, and it becomes... Well, the lobbyists are running the show, but term limits at least minimize the amount of influence that one person can have. And we need term limits everywhere.
Yeah. And we've talked about this. And it's like, I love when people were like, look at Nancy Pelosi. She's owned by lobbyists. She's used all her political power. Look at all the money she has. And I'm like, yeah, because the conservatives in the Senate are living in hovels.